What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens episode review. Today, guys, we are going to be going over episode 86 of Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens. I'm excited as always to be going over these episodes with you guys, so without further ado, let's not waste any more time, and let's get right into it. So, generally speaking, what were my thoughts on episode 86 of Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens? I thought the episode was an okay episode. I thought there was some very interesting moments that did happen throughout this episode. Obviously, this episode was more focused on Roman. Obviously, we've went through all of the characters so far in the show. We went through, Gakuto, we went through Nail and Asana, we went through Roa, and now Roman is the last character in our main group that we need to get memories back for. And essentially, this episode starts off on how we find out how Roman has become a solo artist, because from the last two episodes that we had during the whole Roa, spiel that we had with Roa versus Yuga, we found out that Roman has now become a solo artist, and the beginning of this episode was basically showing us how she became a solo artist. She was just performing on the street, she was just singing away, which I didn't even realize that Roman, was actually a singer, and I don't think anyone was really expecting to see that. I mean, this whole entire show, she was just, the person who played the guitar for the band, but no, she can also sing as well, and, Princess G rides up on her motorcycle and sees, Roman performing away, and she actually stops to watch Roman perform, and Roman sees this and she gets super happy because her model actually stopped to watch her perform, and Princess G notices that she has lost her memories of rush duels and all that, because she probably somehow was able to find out the whole situation that was going on, and decides to take the opportunity to take Roman under her wing to make her become her own artist. And Roman decides to take the deal. We see her going through a photo shoot and everything, getting ready for her debut and everything. We even see, like, when she's performing, she actually gets to do a little bit of a performance with Princess G, which was really nice. And, after she was done practicing, we see Princess G walk up to her and give her guitar to Roman, and Roman was very shocked by this, even denying the guitar because she didn't feel like it was right for her to use it. But Princess G, wanted to give this to her, and she was essentially passing down the torch in a sense, if you want to put it in that way. And Roman does take the guitar, and she is now ready for the solo act, and we see everyone in the group just ready to see her solo act. Well, except for Luke, who isn't really the happiest when it comes to this whole situation. Everyone in the group, well, I say the group as in Yuga, Gakuto, and Roa, because, we don't say Nail and Asana this episode. So when I refer to as the group, I'm talking about, the three group that we have in this episode with Yuga, Gakuto, and Roa. But Luke is not happy with what everything is going on, and they're just allowing the group to essentially let this happen, and Roman to basically keep her memory loss when this entire arc has been about, getting everyone's memories back. And I understand where they're coming from, and even Gakuto tries to explain in this episode, this is the best for Roman. I mean, she's going to be able to have the opportunity to become a solo artist, and they know what's going to happen if Roman goes back with the group. She will essentially lose this opportunity as a solo artist, and they don't want that to happen to Roman. Like, they care about Roman that much to essentially let her have this chance to do that. But at the same time, you're keeping the memories lost that Roman has gained throughout their journey, because you essentially want her to have this opportunity. And Luke realizes that, and when he looks on the screen and sees Roman smiling at this opportunity, he says that this is a fake smile. This is not the same Roman smile that I know her for. And that honestly hit pretty hard, in my opinion, because not only was it just from Luke, who we know Luke is an idiot. Like, I'm not saying that makes Luke bad or anything, but we know Luke as the gullible idiot. But the fact that he is this upset to the point where he's looking at what's going on and basically states that, this isn't the same Roman that we've all known and care about. Like, this is basically a fake Roman in a sense, because all the memories that she's had of the group, not there anymore. And the fact that they think is right it really bothers him. I mean, hell, he storms out of the room in frustration because he does not think that this was the right decision. And, this shocks the group and everything like that to the point that, it has bothered him this much. But I honestly gotta agree with Luke. I mean, this is your best friend, or at least a close friend to you. I mean, look at all that you've went through throughout this show. This was basically your friend group, and you're essentially allowing one of your friends to lose all the memories that she's had of you in the group because you think that this opportunity is in her best interest. When if she doesn't want to do it, don't let her do it. I mean, if she wants to go back with the group, like, let her go back to the group. You should allow Roman to have the choice. If she wants to stick and become a solo artist, then let her. If she wants to go and join up with the group, let her. But they're basically not letting her have a choice. And that's where, I can understand the problem with this. Like, I understand they think they're doing this for the best interest of Roman. But when you really look at it, no, it's not. Because at this point, you're not letting her have a choice of what she wants to become. You're basically telling her what she's going to become. And that's where I will say I was backing up Luke this entire episode because I just gotta say this now. Yuga and Gakuto especially have really disappointed me in this episode. I mean, the fact that they were really willing to do this, I just couldn't really believe it. I mean, especially for Yuga. Like, I don't know what the hell the writers have been doing with Yuga this show. I mean, he has just been a very poor duelist. And now we have this whole debacle of Yuga willing to let Roman basically keep her memories forgotten about so that way she become this solo artist. And I think why that bothers me with Yuga more specifically than maybe Gakuto, and I guess this does apply to Gakuto in the same regard, but I think it more applies to Yuga, is we know that Yuga isn't a stupid character. He is a very smart and intelligent character. And the fact that he didn't even think about, the whole idea that, this should be Roman's choice of what she wants to do. Like, I just really have been disappointed with Yuga these last two arcs. I'm going to be honest, just probably this entire season. Like, I just don't think Yuga has put out the best performance. And especially with this episode because Luke was basically the star of this episode if it wasn't also Roman as well. Like, Roman and Luke were like the main points of this episode, and I think Luke honestly was an MVP this episode. I mean, for what he did in this episode, like, his stock definitely shot up for me, and I felt like Yuga should have been in this scenario to some degree, and there's a reason why I'm saying it because I'll explain it a little later on. But yeah, Yuga this entire like arc like has just been pretty disappointing in my opinion. But we go back to Luke, after he stormed off and everything. He eventually goes back to the duel room after seeing Roman on the big screen one more time. He runs away from it, and we see him crouch down in the duel club room, and he's just thinking about Roman and all that stuff. And he notices that the guitar that she had is still at the duel room club, like she never took it with her. And he goes up to the guitar and picks it up and runs into Bakuro, which, if you remember, he also lost his memories, and he basically goes up to Luke to try and recruit him to his new like dueling style club because he realizes that, oh, this is like a dueling club, like I should probably go and challenge this person with their format, because obviously this whole entire arc has also been about these different people fighting against these different like types of duel styles. And we even see that early in this episode as well, as you have three nobodies. I think one from the actual apocalyptic club, Yoshio's group, started fighting about his own duel styling as well, and you have these three kids getting in an argument, and now you have Bakuro, who has his own new style of dueling as well, now going after Luke to maybe even potentially recruit him. And Luke is not having it. He tells him to essentially get out of his way, or basically they're going to get hurt. And, they kept going after him. And Luke decides that I'm going to duel you, and that essentially happens. He takes the guitar, and Roman's ID pops out of it because he ends up using his watch because he gets so angry. He ends up grabbing Roman's ID card, and, puts it in his pocket, takes his ID out of his duel disc and puts it into Roman's guitar to essentially use that in the duel against Bakuro. Basically having Roman's like past memories basically inside of that duel disc right now when Luke goes to duel against, Bakuro. Or that might not actually be what is going on in that scenario, but that's the way I like to interpret it, and I think that makes it a lot more sweeter in my opinion. But obviously some people might not take it the same way, but that's kind of how I felt when it came to that. So we have Luke versus Bakuro. I'm not going to really talk about the duel. Honestly, in my opinion, was very boring. I did not care about the duel at all. This was just a duel that I understand why they had this duel, because obviously we had to get the other memories of the other people that lost the memories, Menzaburo, Yoshio, Bakuro, like they lost their memories as well. So this was essentially their episode to get all their memories back. And I guess Bakuro was the one to essentially set all of that up. And, it was a very quick duel. I mean, Luke basically OTKs Bakuro, which honestly was kind of hilarious more than anything. And then obviously they were able to get their memories back. And Luke realizes that, oh shoot, everyone else has lost their memories too. I should go out and find the others and try to get their memories back. So we don't see Luke for a little while. We get to discuss now the stuff with the Goha siblings, as obviously their whole entire thing this arc has been figuring out, about the missing pages from the book. And, Yuo's on the computer trying to figure all this out, and they were able to find multiple different copies of the same book that they have. And this leads them to think that this is probably our best chance to essentially figure out, why was this page ripped out of the book? What does this page entail? So they're essentially going to send out Eugene, so he's going to have his shining moment to essentially go out and find all of these Sevens books, and essentially is going to try to find one that has the missing page that could potentially lead them to figure out, why these pages were ripped out of the book and what is the meaning with this book. And I'm just going to say this right now. I do believe that we are going to find out that every single book has the exact same missing page in it. I truly do believe that Eugene is going to go across this world, find all different copies of the Sevens Road book, and is going to find the exact same problem with the book that they have, and that the page that was missing in the book is going to be the same page of all of the copies of the book is going to be missing. Like, I just feel like for them to essentially be able to find this page in the book that they have, like, because they were able to go to another place and find the same copy, I don't know. I feel like if that was the way they did it, would be kind of underwhelming. But for Eugene to go out and potentially find these pages missing in these books as well, I think makes a whole lot of sense. Unless it might be a case of, like, different pages are missing from each of these books. But at that point, like, that wouldn't really make any sense. So I truly do believe when Eugene does find out all these books, he is going to essentially learn that the same page is missing in every single book. It just makes the most sense to do it that way. I really do not hope it's the latter, and they were just able to find a book and they were able to solve this whole Sevens Road book, because if that's just the way they did it, it's definitely underwhelming. I mean, there's just no debate about that. But that's really it for the whole thing with the Seven Road book and the Goha siblings. Not really much happened, but it keeps the plot going with that Sevens Road book, so that was pretty great to see. But now we get to the stuff with the solo debut. Obviously you have Roman coming on stage, getting ready to perform. Everyone's super excited to see her perform for the first time, and Roman gets ready to sing, and out of nowhere, you have the three buffoons from earlier in the episode start to argue with each other again about the stupid formats again. And this is where it leads to Luke coming on top of the stage and basically yells on the top of his lungs for everyone to shut up about the stupid formats and essentially stop, because obviously this is Roman's big moment and you're basically ruining it. And, Yuga in the group is actually really happy to see Luke again, because obviously, they weren't in the best of terms at that point, because obviously earlier in the episode, Luke stormed off, so they basically don't know what happened to Luke. So they're glad to see that Luke's okay. And they noticed that, everyone else was able to get their memories back. Yoshio and his group, Menzaburo and his group, and Bakuro and his group were all able to get their memories back. So basically, everyone except for Roman now has their memories back. And, you having them exchanging a little bit of dialogue as well about, Luke going after each and every single one of them to duel them to get their memories back, which I'm a little disappointed that Luke was the one that was able to get all their memories back. I would have honestly preferred if Yugioh was the one that did that, if I'm going to be completely honest, or even just the group effort, because I feel like they just getting so much attention that Luke, I feel like they just kind of needed to calm down a little bit on it. But I guess they just really want to focus on Luke throughout this season. I mean, I don't want to say it. I really don't, but Luke is the protagonist of this show. Like, just the way they've treated Luke this entire show, like, I don't know, like, he just feels like a protagonist. And I don't like to say that because obviously that was not how the show was promoted. Yuga was promoted to be our protagonist, and it's a problem that the rival character, basically the best friend character, is basically becoming the protagonist because your own protagonist cannot stand up to be that protagonist, which is a little disappointing. And that's why I said earlier that his stock has kind of been going down for me, honestly, this season, because of all the Luke focus that they've had in it. They haven't really shown us why Yuga is our protagonist. Like, they haven't just shown that off very well, in my opinion. So that was a little disappointing that Luke was the one that brought him back, but I'm gonna play devil's advocate on it. Who really cares, if I'm gonna be completely honest? I feel like, this episode was more focused on getting Roman's memories back than these three characters. And don't get me wrong, it was important to get these characters' memories as well, because they did establish that they lost their memories as well. And I think it would have been, untouched if they essentially didn't do it to some degree, and basically they wouldn't have completely forgotten about it. So the fact that they did bring it up, like, it's a good thing. I just kind of wish that Yugioh was the one that did it. And this then eventually leads to Roman remembering her memories as well, because Luke was able to get through to her as well without even having the duel, which was pretty interesting. I guess just the relationship that those two have built between each other was strong enough to basically allow Luke to get her memories back without even Roman having the duel. And just the relationship between Luke and Roman throughout the show has been quite fascinating, to say the least. I'm not going to talk too much about it because I'm not someone that likes to go down a certain route. I'm not going to get into it in this video, but you guys probably know what I'm starting to apply. If you wanted to disagree with me, that's fine, but I don't know. I mean, from what's been going on so far in this show, I don't think you can really blame me for thinking the way that I'm thinking right now, but I'm not getting into it. This is not the video to really do that, so I'm not going to be talking about that. But I guess if you guys want to comment about it, that's fine, but I'm not going to really be talking about it. I'll be willing to talk about it in the comments, just not during the actual review. I'm not someone that really wants to get into that, but Roman was able to get her memories back, and this led to a very emotional scene, actually, that I wasn't really expecting, but I wasn't really upset about it at all. In fact, I really actually liked it. It was very heartwarming, if I'm going to be completely honest, because, Roman had forgotten about everyone, and she felt really bad about that. I mean, she started to break into tears because she was, becoming this solo artist and didn't even remember anyone. So that was honestly a scene that I was not really expecting Sevens to do. But I absolutely love that scene. It's probably my favorite scene of this entire episode, besides, Rook, OTK, and Bakuro, because that was just hilarious. And then even, like, the line that Luke said earlier in this episode, like, I do think there were some really good points to this episode. And, Roman is happy, she gets her memories back, but someone is not happy, and it's Princess G, and decides to become an SOB, and decides that she's going to challenge Roman because obviously she basically, I guess in her eyes, she ruined her solo debut. Like, I don't know where the hell this came out of nowhere, but I guess we're going to be seeing Princess G versus Roman, which I don't have a problem with it at all. I mean, this has been a fan favorite duel that people have wanted to see in this entire show, and I'm not going to lie and say that I didn't want to see this duel. I think this is going to be pretty interesting. interesting to see, you know, Princess G duel for the first time. And for this being Roman's final duel of the show, I think this is going to be a great way to end off Roman's character. So this is going to be a pretty cool duel to see. Roman versus Princess G. But we do got one final thing to discuss in this episode. Not really much, but it has to revolve around Goha Yuga. And boy, oh boy, did we have an interesting way to end off this episode. We have Goha Yuga flying in the air, and boy, he has been going through a lot. I mean, he has been having all of these different memories in his head, you know, from when he was a kid to all the stuff that happened when he was swirly with Luke in the group. Like, he just cannot take all these different memories anymore. Like, he just looked like he was soulless in a sense. Like, the way he was just flying in the air looked very creepy, if I'm going to be completely honest. And I don't know what is going to happen to Goha Yuga as the rest of the show comes to a conclusion, but I'm very interested to see what they do with Goha Yuga. I really don't hope he, like, you know, reverts back to being, you know, good Goha Yuga or swirly, I guess you can say. I really hope that doesn't become the case until after he duels against Yuga, or hell, maybe it's going to be Luke at this point. I honestly don't know. The way they've been treating Luke in this show, I would not be surprised if it was Luke versus Goha Yuga. I hope that isn't the case, but I hope that they don't make him essentially, you know, go back to the good side until he has his final duel of the show, and then you can essentially redeem him and make him turn back into swirly or whatever you want to do. But I do have a little bit of concerns for Goha Yuga that maybe he'll be able to regain his memories and all that stuff of swirly and might go back to the good side. I hope that's not the case, but we're going to have to wait and see on that. But with that being said, that's going to be it for this episode review. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this episode. Did you like the episode? Did you think the episode was okay? Or did you not really like this episode at all? Let me know your guys' thoughts on Luke versus Bakuro. Did you actually like the duel or not? And let me know your guys' thoughts on the relationship with Luke and Roman. Did you like the fact that Luke was the one that was able to get, you know, everyone's memories back, including Roman's memories back? Or do you wish that it was someone like Yuga who was the one to get the memories back? Would love to know all your guys' thoughts in this episode, and also let me know your guys' thoughts about the whole thing with the book and there being multiple copies of the book. And do you think they're going to be able to find the pages, or do you guys agree with me and think that they're going to be able to find all these books and every single book is going to have the exact same missing page out of it? Would love to know all your guys' thoughts on this down below. But with that being said, that's going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, guys, take care and have yourselves a great rest of your day.